Welcome to Going Home Acres, land clearing edition. So today I'm not working on Sarah's house because I ran out of electrical wire, so she's ordering more, and then we're going to get back on the house, finish wiring up all the outlets and the lights. This morning I'm out in the woods. Oh, what's that behind the Ranger? Let me show you what I got. So I bought a Caterpillar, and I think I've been telling people it's a D3. It is not a D3. It is a D4. I know it's a D4 because it says D4 right on it. So, as you can see, I started yesterday. I started pushing trees out. If I face, oh, I can't see anything over there. But over here, you see I started pushing trees down with my skid steer and my tractor. So I have to get in there and start pushing that stuff out. I'm going to do that in a little bit. Maria's taking fire over and put her in the front yard so she can eat grass, fresh grass all day, or all morning anyway. So I'm up here. You can see I pushed down through the woods down there. I'm going to go get the skid steer also with the grapple bucket on it. And that way I can move some of these piles easier once I push them into place. Even though the ground is kind of steep here, and not too bad here, it really gets bad down here. So I may use that as a spot to push everything into. I'm not really comfortable driving the bulldozer down that yet, considering I literally have 1 day experience on this machine. So I'm going to get to work and might be able to get a little bit of dozing footage on the camera if I can do it safely. But this is an old machine. It's from 1963, so you can see the only hydraulics are for the blade. That's it. Otherwise everything's manual. Manual clutch, manual steering, and it has a pony motor. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to get it started this morning. It's a process, that's for sure. All right, before I get started today, I wanted to take a little video because I made it 1 day. Not even 1 day. I think I pushed trees for about an hour and a half with this thing yesterday. You can see I got trees pushed down here where I'm trying to clear so I can plant grass. And this morning I came over to start it and it wouldn't start. So I don't know if you can see down in there where the drain plug is for the pony motor, and it looks like there's like really thin chocolate milk coming out of it. I think the pony motor blew a head gasket. There's one head here, see where the spark plug is, and I can get to that head pretty simple. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts, and I could probably pull that head off there. And then the other head, I come back around to this side of the machine. You see I got fresh oil and 2 spark plugs here. The other head's on this side, and it's 6 bolts, but the starter's attached up there, the starter button. You see where the switch and the button are. And it says that it's on, but I have the battery unhooked, so that's not a big deal. And apparently these things do that because there's drains on the bottom of both of these heads in case you flood it or in case you have a problem with it. You can drain the liquid out of the head. Well, I've only had this machine for a couple of days, so now it's fix-it time. So I'm going to put fresh oil, and I bought the cheapest oil I could buy because if this thing does have a head gasket blown on it, I'm going to put fresh oil in it. It's not going to be any good tomorrow, and I'm going to get this thing started and get it out of here. I have a neighbor who's a heavy equipment mechanic, and he said he'd come. Well, if I can't get it started and get it out of here, he'll come here with he'll come here and I'll bring my skid steer down here and we'll drag this thing and get it started with the skid steer. Chain the blade up because of course the blade's on the ground, and we'll get this thing out of here so I can fix it. There is a fix. It's kind of expensive to take that starter motor off of there and actually replace it with an electric start. And we may end up doing that. We're not sure yet. But still not down on this machine. It's a good machine, and I'm going to get a lot of work done with it. But, you know, when you buy equipment, especially heavy equipment, there is a chance that you're just going to work on it, you know? And that's what I'm doing. I'm not going to get excited. I'm going to try and fix it, and we'll see. So if I get it running, I'll film it running before I drive it up out of here. If I do get it running, I'm going to push some trees with it today before I go shut it off, so I can at least get some stuff done. So, all right, so that's today's update, and we'll see how it goes to see if I have to drag this thing out of here with the skid steer or not. And you can't really tell how steep it is from where we're standing. But the other mistake I made is I parked it on an angle, and I'm not wondering if I should have had it parked level. So this may be purely operator error. Not sure yet. Like I said, just bought it. I've never operated a bulldozer this old, and there's going to be a learning curve on it for sure. So, but that's what I got going on today. Okay, so this is not exactly a bulldozer video. It is a land clearing video. Trying to work out some of my frustrations because the dozer is dead. So I got to get down there when I got a little time and take it apart. But in the meantime, I got the skid steer out with the tree puller on it. And this is the pile I made. I'll put the grapple bucket on it tomorrow, and I'll move this pile out of the way. And then I think what I'm going to do is bring my tractor down here with the brush hog on it, and run through here with the brush hog and cut down all this little stuff that I can cut down with that. And then I'll start pulling trees again with the skid steer. And then hopefully Maria will take fire and put her over in the yard so she can eat fresh grass. And then I'll come in here with the brush hog and cut all this grass that's up close to her. Cut all these weeds that's getting close to her pen. And then I'll come in here with the tree puller and the skid steer and pull all these out. I was hoping to doze this, and I probably would have got it done pretty quick, except for something's broken in the starter mechanism on the dozer. At least that's what we think it is, what we hope it is. So we'll try and follow along on that when I start disassembling it. I'll try and set up a camera so you guys can learn right along with me, because I'm not a heavy equipment mechanic, and this will be a steep learning curve for me. But you can't really see down there through the woods if you look real careful. Right about there is my D4 broken that down the hill. We couldn't get it out of here today. We don't have anything heavy enough to drag it out, and it seems there's something stuck in the drivetrain, and we think it's the starter mechanism that's jammed and will not let the tracks roll. Even in neutral, I can't get it to roll. So back up here at the top of the hill, and as you can see, I got quite a lot of trees, small trees and brush to clear so we can turn this into pasture. So, I don't know where you're gonna insert this video into the videos I took of that machine that's way down the hill down there. But we kind of had to change a little bit of what we're doing here on the farm. I bought a dozer, and depending on how this video is put together, you'll see the story of my one day of dozing with my D4 Caterpillar. So we had to rearrange. We had to do something a little different. So I have my little skid steer here and my tree puller. I don't know if we've shown any footage of that tree puller, right? Here, walk down around this way. Watch your step. So I'm very fond of buying implements at auction. And I bought this tree puller. It's hydraulic, goes on the front of the skid steer, and the first time I had it on the machine, I broke it in half. So we completely rebuilt it with a new plate and welded it all back together, and now we're pulling trees with it because the dozer's broken. So what we're doing is we're going through and we're pulling these trees one at a time, and I'm just stacking them, and then down the hill down here you'll see a bucket sitting there. Well, that bucket's got two great big hooks on it, and it's called a grapple bucket. So all I do is I pull the trees out with my skid steer. I switch to that hydraulic bucket, the grapple bucket. I come up and I grab a big pile of trees, and then I'm relocating our trees into a big pile. And when I get the dozer fixed, we're going to push them off the edge of this part of the farm. If you think it's steep where we're standing here, it drops off.
Yeah, and we're only, how far away would you say we are from the horse?
75 feet maybe.
But we're probably 20 feet
20
below.
Feet down, yeah. It really drops down low, and it keeps dropping. We were worried when we first bought this place it would be too steep to have pasture, but we have a neighbor, he's about a mile from us, who actually has hay baled on property that is so steep. I don't know how they do it, but they get it done every year. So I have, you'll see there's some stumps sticking up that I haven't cut off flush to the ground yet. When the dozer's running, we're going to try and push those stumps out. If they won't push out, then I'll cut them off flush. We'll plant grass and we won't worry about it. They'll rot off. But it's pretty, it's going pretty well. I'm going to get my tractor over here with my brush hog on it. We're going to mow the weeds down, get everything mowed. I'm going to run into the woods down there and mow everything small that I can mow with the brush hog. And then the next step will be to take a chainsaw and start cutting some of these medium-sized trees out of here. I tried to get a logging company in here to see if I could maybe sell some of the oak and walnut logs that are on the property. I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting somebody who wants to come in and deal with the amount of brush that we have. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the logs down myself, and those that I think I could sell, they're hauling hay. That's about the fourth semi-load of hay that went by in the last couple of days. Those that I think I can sell myself, I'll take to the mill. We have a couple local mills, and if they're too big for me to load or too big to get out of here, then I'll stack them and I'll see if I can get somebody to come pick them up. But the big thing is to get this cleared, get it graded, and get it seeded, and hopefully we'll have grass growing by, maybe by December we'll actually have grass popping up here, and next spring we'll have nice pasture. So that's what we're working on today. So if you want to follow down here, I'll show you the bucket, the grapple bucket, and the dozer. Where'd you go, Raggy? Come on, baby. She was right in here.
She's down there, yeah.
Yeah, she found something to follow.
Hold on, let's stop for 2 seconds. I'm just going to walk off so you can partially see. Now how many feet down from the horse would you say we are?
Oh, way down.
I mean, the horse is right there. You can see the trailer peeking up. Hold on.
But it is a...
Yeah, you can see the trailer peeking up in that, and we are really far down. And then it keeps, you can see, I feel like you could probably tell how far.
It really drops down. It's like a
Drops.
canyon down there. That is too dangerous. We're probably not going to clear that. I may push in as far as I can with the dozer and then leave it.
But it looks like it flattens down there.
Well, there's a road down along our fence line is down there.
Okay.
Down in there somewhere. I just don't know how much I'm going to be able to clear. I'll leave part of it, and it'll be nice to have cover. So then when we do have cattle, goats, if the pigs end up getting pastured down here, the horse, whatever ends up down here pastured, can go in there and get out of the elements. It'd be kind of a wind break and a little bit of a rain break, if that's even a word. But you can see what I'm dealing with here. See the little cedar tree that's grown up in these trees? This is the whole property. Everything is all kind of tangled in, so it's like little bit at a time that I'm taking out. Now I may take the cedar out, that little oak, but leave this medium-sized oak as shelter, as shade. And then you can see where I'm just pushing and stacking everything in here. On the other side of this big brush pile, it drops straight down. So I may push with the dozer. You would think we lived on a state highway or something. And right now you can see, if you look at the ground, we need rain. And unfortunately, the way Missouri is, it's going to go from dry to flooding and wash a lot of this dirt down. But we need rain. And we may get some because of that hurricane in Louisiana. This was another auction acquisition. Our local rental company went out of business, and I bought 3 buckets. This is the bucket that was the most important, that I really wanted. This is called a grapple bucket, for those of you who don't know what it is, and it's hydraulic. And I got to tell you, I can pick up, I don't even know how much weight I can pick up with it, but it's awesome. It's definitely my favorite auction purchase so far. And it went cheap because they told me it didn't work. I don't know why they said it didn't work, but I hooked it up to my skid steer and it works perfect. So that's how we're moving the big piles of brush once I get the trees yanked. And if Sarah turns around here, you can see what I'm dealing with. This entire open area looked exactly like this. All those little trees. This split tree, this big split oak here, we may take it down. This little oak over here is coming down. All these little cedars and little scrub brush trees, they're all coming down. And then we'll seed it. We'll seed, once we got to figure out what we want to put in here. If it's just going to be orchard grass, fescue, some clover, Lesbides, something. We don't know what yet. I'm not that schooled, so we'll have to figure that out. And then down here, now we're still walking downhill. And you can see, if Sarah, so this is where we had these holes are where my neighbor's truck was when my dozer first broke down. And those holes are where my 4-wheel drive tractor was when we first tried to start pulling this dozer out of here, and it's stuck. We can't get it out. We may bring a larger Caterpillar down here to try and drag it out. We may try to fix it right where it's sitting. And this is my slightly broken 1963 Caterpillar D4. And we're not real sure what's wrong with it yet. We do know that the starter mechanism is froze up. It locked up. So I don't know. I was trying to start it and it quit trying to start. and it just could be that it's jammed, and when it unjams, it'll fire right up. But right now, we can't get it to unjam. But hopefully, we'll get this thing running, and then we'll do a video of the magic that this thing is. I mean, it's just the one day that I had it running, I did more work down here than in the 2 weeks previous with my skid steer. It just makes it quick. It does tear the ground up a little bit, and I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't like, when you come in with a dozer and it kind of takes the top layer off. But like I said, it makes quick work of pulling the trees out. So I think that's it. That's what we've got going on the farm right now. And when we get the dozer running, we'll come back on and show you that. Thank you, and God bless. And by the way, this is Growing Home Acres. If you like what we're doing here, like, share, subscribe. Come join us for our adventure, and we'll see you later.